Welcome to Life Lessons Chapters, unlocking creative wisdom through every enchanting tale.
Hello, everyone. Today I have a story for you, but this one is different. It's not just about life, it's about you. It's about the moments when you feel weak, lost, or not good enough, and how a single thought, a single step can change everything. By the end of this story, you won't just hear a lesson, you might actually start believing in yourself again. So listen closely, because your new chapter begins right now. There was a time when Ayan used to dream loudly. As a child, he believed he could do anything: run faster, climb higher, learn quicker, laugh without worrying who was watching. But life has a way of placing weights on your shoulders. One failure, then another. A harsh word from a teacher, a betrayal from a friend, a job he didn't get, a dream that didn't work. Slowly, the world taught Ayan something dangerous. You're not good enough. So one evening, after another long day of pretending he was fine, Ayan walked out of the noisy city toward the hills behind his town. He didn't have a plan. He just needed to get away from the screens, from the noise, from that voice inside his head that never stopped saying, "You're a disappointment." The sky was painted with soft orange and purple, and the wind carried the cool breath of night. Birds were flying back to their nests, but Ayan felt like he didn't belong anywhere. He reached a quiet hill overlooking a valley of trees, and for the first time in years, he said out loud, "I don't know who I am anymore." The wind didn't answer, but the world grew very, very still, as if it was listening. Ayan sat on a large rock, watching the last light sink behind the distant mountains. He didn't notice the old man at first. The stranger sat a few meters away, on a flat stone, as if he had been there for centuries, calm, steady, part of the landscape. His beard was white, his eyes soft and clear, and his clothes simple and worn, like someone who had walked far and learned much. After a long silence, the old man spoke. "Heavy, isn't it?" Ayan turned. "Sorry." The old man nodded toward Ayan's chest. "What you're carrying inside, heavier than any bag." Ayan looked away, embarrassed. "You don't even know me." The old man smiled gently. "I don't need to know your story to recognize a heart that's tired of fighting itself." Something in those words cut through Ayan's defenses. "Who are you?" Ayan asked. "Just a man who once stopped believing in himself," the stranger replied, "and someone who learned 3 things that changed everything." Ayan frowned to coot down. "3 things?" The old man nodded. 3 challenges. If you face them, you might see yourself differently, not as broken, but as becoming. The wind brushed softly against the grass. Ayan swallowed. "What do I have to do?" The old man's eyes warmed. "Just be honest, with yourself and with me." The old man picked up a small stone and rolled it in his hand. "First, challenge," he said, "is simple and cruel. You must face the voice that hurts you the most." He pointed to Ayan's chest again. "Close your eyes. Tell me the worst things you say to yourself." Ayan hesitated. He wasn't used to saying those words out loud. But he closed his eyes and took a shaky breath. "I tell myself I'm a failure, that no matter what I try, I ruin it." He swallowed. "I tell myself other people are better, smarter, stronger, that I'm just extra." His voice cracked. "I tell myself the world would keep moving even if I disappeared." When he opened his eyes, his lashes were wet. The old man didn't flinch. He simply asked, "If someone else said those things to you every day, would you call them a friend?" Ayan shook his head instantly. "Of course not." "Then why?" the old man said softly. Do you let that voice live inside your mind without ever questioning it? The sky deepened into twilight. Stars began to blink awake. Ayan had no answer. Your first challenge, the stranger continued, is to separate you from that voice. You are not your doubts. You are not your fears. You are the one who hears them, and you can choose which ones to believe. The wind sighed through the grass, as if agreeing. The old man stood up slowly and motioned for Ayan to follow. They walked along the ridge of the hill, the valley below darkening, but the sky still holding a soft glow. Second challenge, he said, is to remember. Remember what? Ayan asked. Your mountains, the man replied. He pointed to the horizon where jagged peaks cut against the fading light. Look at those mountains. Do you think they were shaped by gentle days? No, they were carved by storms, winds, time, pressure, just like you. Ayan watched the mountains silent. The old man continued, close your eyes again. But this time, don't think of your failures. Think of every hard thing you've survived. Slowly, Ayan did. He remembered the exam he thought he'd fail, but passed. The heartbreak that didn't destroy him, even when it felt like it would. The nights he couldn't sleep, but still got up in the morning. The days he wanted to disappear, but somehow kept going. His breathing slowed. Feel that? The old man asked. Ayan nodded, eyes still closed. That is strength. Not the strength of never falling, but the strength of always getting up. Your second challenge is to stop defining yourself by the times you collapsed and start remembering the times you stood again. When Ayan opened his eyes, the mountains looked different. They weren't just distant shapes anymore. They were witnesses, silent proof that roughness can become something majestic. They returned to the large rock where Ayan had first sat. The night sky was now deep and full, stars scattered like quiet lanterns. The old man picked up a small stick and drew a line in the dirt. On one side, he wrote, before. On the other, after. Final challenge, he said, is not about thinking. It's about doing. Ayan watched him, curious. Everyone waits, the stranger went on, for a big moment, a huge opportunity, a dramatic turnaround, a miracle. He shook his head gently. But life doesn't change because of what you plan in your head. It changes the moment you take one small, honest step forward. He looked Ayan in the eyes. Tell me one thing you would do if you believed in yourself just a little more than you do right now. Ayan thought. Not about becoming famous or rich or perfect. He thought of something simpler, real. I would start drawing again, he said quietly. I used to love it, but I stopped because I thought I wasn't good enough. The old man smiled. Good. Then your third challenge is this. Tomorrow, draw. Not for likes, not for approval, just to honor the part of you that still wants to live. He tapped the dirt between before and after. That one act will be your line, your step, your beginning. Ayan realized the air had grown colder. The world was covered in a soft blanket of night. He turned to ask the old man another question, but the rock beside him was empty. No footsteps, no shadow, just the whisper of wind and the stars shining quietly above. For a moment, Ayan wondered if he had imagined everything, but then he looked down and saw the line in the dirt, the words before and after, still there. And more importantly, he felt something new in his chest. Not a roaring fire, not a dramatic transformation, just a small, steady warmth, a beginning. The next morning, Light spilled gently into Ayan's room. The voice in his head tried to start again. "Stay in bed. You'll fail anyway. You always do." But another voice, new, quieter, stronger, whispered, "Just one step." So he got up. He took out an old sketchbook he had hidden in the back of a drawer. The pages yellowed from time. His hands trembled a little as he held the pencil. He didn't draw perfectly. He didn't create a masterpiece, but he drew honestly. Line by line, shape by shape, he poured a piece of his heart onto the page. For the first time in a long time, he wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was just showing up for himself. And as he finished the sketch, he realized something. He had crossed the line from before to after. Not because the world changed, but because he did. Right now, as you listen to this story on Life Lesson Chapters, maybe a part of you feels like Ayan. Maybe you've stopped trying, stopped dreaming, stopped believing you matter. So let me tell you this. If this story reached you, it's not by accident. Maybe tonight you were meant to hear this. You are not broken. You are becoming. You don't need to change your whole life today. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to take one honest step. Send that message. Start that project. Pick up that book. Practice that skill. Say sorry. Say yes. Say no. Do something small that your future self will thank you for. Because sometimes, the story that makes you believe in yourself again is not the one you watch. It's the one you start writing from this moment on. Now it's your turn. In the comments, tell me, what is one small step you will take today for yourself? Your answer might be the light someone else is searching for in their darkness. This is Life Lesson Chapters, and your next chapter starts now.